I hope it's not too early to wish you all a Merry Christmas, but this is my last little Christmas treat for you this year. I want to show you how to play the song Step Into Christmas by Elton John, drummed by Nigel Olsson. So let's step into it. First thing to understand is we've got a basic drum beat being played all the way through. There's nothing really complicated going on. This is more of an intermediate level for drummers, nothing too complicated. The thing that makes it weird, or a little bit tricky, or intermediate, is the use of odd length of verses. We got a couple of bars of 2/4. You could consider it to be a bar of 6/4 if you include the bar of 4 before it. But we've got some odd structures to the song, and the bass drums are sort of going over the downbeats of beat 1. We go into new sections, which can make it a little bit off-putting or a little bit strange for some drummers because we're not grounding it on beat 1 every time. We're sort of moving over into the next bars we're going to see. So verse 1, we're basically playing on the closed hi-hat all the way through the song apart from the last section. And we come in with the bass drum on the and the beat 4. So no crash cymbal. Crash cymbal is quite rare in this song. But we get this bass drum coming in on the and the beat 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So that's how Nigel comes in. It might not be played with a hi-hat. It might just be the bass drum on its own. But I was able to find an isolated drum track for this song, which was kind of essential really to hear some of the nuances. For example, there are some little double kick parts with one pedal later in the song, which I never heard before, but with the isolated drum track, they stood out. I was like, oh wow, Nigel's actually playing some cool little licks there, which I never realised before. And so I'm pretty confident with what I've got here, even though it might be hard for you to hear. The bass drum does get quite low in the mix in some sections. So anyway, we come in with the and a beat 4 and 1, and then we're into our first drum beat, and we get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and our first example of this moving over the bar line with the bass drum, 4 and 1 and 2. We're going to the next bar there. We don't play the bass drum on beat 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that third bar is the same as the second bar. So we get this sort of repeating pattern, 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4 and, where we're not playing the bass drum on beat 1 pretty much all the way through some sections. So we're starting with that intro bass drum part, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4 and. And this next bar is our first example of an odd time signature. Really it's just a bar of 2/4. So there's only 2 extra beats there. You could think of it as added to the bar before it or its own little 2/4 part. It doesn't really make sense with what the drums are playing, but if you listen to the melody Elton's playing, then that bar of 2/4 makes sense because the next 2 bars, the last 2 bars of each line, definitely sort of rooted on beat 1 again. So we get this continuation of the bar before it going into this bar of 2/4. So if you look at the bar before the 2/4 and then the bar of 2/4 itself, we get 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and then we go back to beat 1 and we go back into 4/4, 4 beats per bar. By the way, I've got the fully transcribed PDF drum chart for you to download from my website for free. You'll find a link beneath this video. So some of these sections are going to make a lot more sense if you've got the paper in front of you. So have these printed out and hopefully it'll make a lot more sense for you. If I didn't mention it, the link is beneath this video. So continuing on to that last 2 bars of the first line. By the way, notice that each line is 6 bars in length. We get 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4 and. So it resolves back on beat 1 with the bass drum for the first of those 2 bars. But then by the time we get to the end of the first line, we're going back to that idea where we're skipping over beat 1 again. So if we go into the second line, which is the same length as the line above it, we get 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2, 1. where it resolves back to beat 1 after that little bar of 2/4, where we get 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and again going into bridge 1, no bass drum on beat 1, no crash cymbal either. It's very subtle. So Nigel's sort of keeping it up in the air with the bass drum. So bridge 1, we've got similar ideas to the verses. 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and, but he starts adding this 3 and on the bass drum. He doesn't play it every time, but we get 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 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 halfway through the line he plays 1 and 2, 3, 4 and then next bar, again I'd only have noticed it if because I found the isolated drum track, but we get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then the last 2 bars, same as the first 2 bars. Then for the bridges, we get just an extra 2 bars added at the end. We get 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1. And it's quite tricky to hear what Nigel's playing. This is what he's actually playing on the recording, but because we've got like some overdub maraca kind of effects, you'll hear it during the verses as well. Kind of sounds like extra drums are being played, or percussion parts definitely being played, but that's not what Nigel's playing on the kit. He's keeping it really simple. So Nigel just plays 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1. Simple as that. Then we get 3 and 4 and 1. High, low, snare high, low, and the bass drum ends the drum fill. Going into beat 1, where we get a nice resolution on beat 1 with the crash cymbal going into our first chorus. So the last 2 bars there of bridge 1, 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1. I play it left, left, right, but you can use any sticking you like. I'll play it all up to speed for you in a moment. Let's go on to chorus 1 for now. Chorus 1 continues with our same ideas as the bridges and verses. So I'm not going to go through every single bar there. Just be aware that I don't think apart from the very first bar we ever get a bass drum on beat 1. The last 2 bars, 1, 2, 3 and 4, 1. This time it ends with the bass drum and hi-hat. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and high tom, floor tom, floor tom. If you wanted to make it more melodic, you could play and 4 and going down the toms, but he plays the same tom twice there. And 4 and 1. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Drum fill before we had it starting on 3 with the snare drum. This one starts just after it on the and of 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, when we go into verse 2. So now, let me play for you verse 1, bridge 1 and chorus 1, so you can hear how you go from section to section without a microphone on, so you can hear just the drums. Here we go. So the rest of this lesson is going to be relatively simple for me to explain because we're going over the same ideas again and again. It's really just the middle of each bar for these verses and bridges that you want to look out for to see if there's extra bass drums occurring. So you can see verse 2 is very similar to verse 1 in its structure. Well, it's identical in its structure, but the bass drum parts, and you can see that at the end, the last 2 bars, the bars of 4/4, it starts again. We get the resolution on the bass drum on beat 1. Nothing else to talk about there. But then bridge 2, we get something to talk about. So bridge 2 has the 3 and on the bass drum every time, pretty much. And then the next line, we get our first example of this snare drum backbeat falling on all the downbeats. So bar 2 onwards, we get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So look out for that. We get 3 bars of that, starting from the beginning of that line. 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Third bar, and then 1, 2. And the drum fill this time, 2 flams on the snare drum, and then 2 flams between your 2 toms. So we get 3 and 4 and 1. Then we go into a crash. Yeah, pretty much after all the big drum fills, there's a crash afterwards, where we go into chorus 2 on the next page. So here's our first example in chorus 2 of that little double kick thing I talked about earlier on. In bar 4, and you can just about hear it on the recording, once you've noticed it's there, it sort of pops out a little bit. Nigel plays 1 and a 2 and 3. And now I know he's got 2 bass drums, but the hi-hat is kind of closed, so it suggests to me that his foot's on the hi-hat, which means he's playing it with 1 foot, and the tempo isn't so fast that you couldn't do it. So let's create a little 2-bar loop, bars 3 and 4 for example. 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 1 and a 2, 3 and 4, 1 and a 2, 3 and... You can definitely leave out those little double kicks if you can't play them. Bit faster, 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Very cool. So that's a little bit of fun, a little bit of spice if you want to add those in on the ands and beat ones, he tends to play them. It continues with the same sort of pattern. The second line of chorus 2, bar 2, we get 1, 2. So before usually we're skipping over beat 2, but this time 1, 2, snare drum on its own. Then he plays 3 and 4 and 1. High tom, snare, floor tom, bass, crash. So we get 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1. And then we're into our little break section. So now let me play for you bridge 2 and chorus 2. Here we go. So now it's time for our little drum solo. We get a crash cymbal at the beginning of the line. We then get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bars of rest. The last 2 bars we come in with this 2-bar drum fill. It starts on the snare drum, 1 with a flam, and then I think he uses 3 toms for this drum fill. Pretty much the only time in the song that he does, believe it or not. We get 1, 2, so 1 and 2 and 3 and, sorry, it stays on the same tom. 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4, 1, 2, 3 and a 4. Over the next bar, a little bit tricky to count, we get 1 E and 2, so skipping over that first 16th note of beat 1, 1 E and 2 and 1 E and 2 and then 2 E and 3 and 4 bass crash. So best if I play it slowly for you, both bars together. 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 E and 2. 1 E and 2, a 3 and 4 and 1. Do it again. 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 E and 2, a 3 and 4 and 1. And 2 and 3 and a 4, 1 E and 2, a 3 and 4 and 1. Quite hard to count up to speed. You don't really have to. You can hear da da ba ba da ba da ba ba da ba 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 ba. So nice little drum fill that, using these offbeat 16th notes to make it a little bit quirky, a little bit interesting. We then go on to the next line where we get another crash and 4 bars of break, and then Nigel does something rather strange with the bass drum. He sort of starts with a pattern and then sort of improvises with it. So nothing really complicated going on. Let me just read you those 4 lines out loud. So we get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And on the recording I couldn't hear a crash cymbal, but you could play an and 1, 2 going into verse 3. So those 4 bars a bit faster. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'll play up speed for you in a moment. Verse 3, gone over all these ideas before. Notice, however, in bar 4 of the first line, that bar of 2-4, for the first time Nigel plays a bass drum on the and a beat 2. 1 and 2 and 3. Sorry, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3. So we don't get that nice resolution on beat 1 of bar 5 after the bar of 2-4. You know what I mean. So look out for that little difference there, going from the and a 2 into the next bar. It's not resolved on beat 1 of the bass drum that time. Next line, last bar, new drum fill, we get 1 and 2, sort of open hi-hat I heard, 1 and 2, and then 3 E ands into your first tom, 3 E and 4 and. Again, it's hard to hear on the recording, but if you listen to the isolated drum track, you can hear he plays 3 E and 4 and, this offbeat crash on the and of 4, which gets repeated towards the end of the song. 3 E and 4 and. So the last two bars there, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 ands. And you can close the hi-hat on beat 3 or you can close it on beat 1 of the next bar. It doesn't really matter, you can't really hear it ring out anyway. So now let me play for you from the break, starting with the drum solo fill, and then all the way through verse 3 up to speed. So bridge 3, really we're just looking out for the drum fills at the end. We got the first line, 1 and 2 and then this time it's the same sort of drum fills as the bar above it, 3 E and, starts the same way, 3 E and, but instead of 4 and, it's 4 and. So he plays same as this, but, so we get right, left, right, right, left, right is what I'm trying to say, the sticking. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 E ands. So a little bit weird going into the next bar with the offbeat and there. We get 1 and 2, 3 and 4 E and 1 and 2. 4 E and 1 and 2. So be aware of that. That bass drum there on the crash is the and of 4, not beat 1 of the next bar. Last bar of the next line, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 ands. So bars, last two bars there, 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And then chorus 3, the hi-hat sort of stays open, it's a bit more washy, so we're going to play the rest of the song with the more loose hi-hat. So now let me play for you, because we've got two cool drum fills there, both lines of bridge 3. So our last set of choruses, chorus 3, look out for the extra little bass drum note there on the second bar, on the and of beat 1, the and-a, just checking something. Then we got the last line with our big drum fill there, the last bar. We get 1 and-a, 2 E and-a, fine, 3 E and-a, 4 E and-a. Very simple, just a line of 16th notes. So 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and 4 E and 1. 1 and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1. Next page, last page, chorus 4. We get in bar 4 the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. So not the snare drum on beat 1, just starting an extra snare drum on beat 3. So bars 3 and 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Continuing with that idea. Then we get the second line there, chorus 4, we get this new drum fill, which is basically playing groups of 3 16th notes. Two notes played and then one note rested. 1 E and a 2 and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 resolves there with the 4-E-ander. So we get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E, a 2 and a 3 E and 4. That's the sticking I use, by the way. Right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, left. So 1, 2, 3 and 4 and ba-da, 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 ba-da. Then chorus 5, and we got some sneaky stuff going on in bar 3 with the extra bass drum notes on the and the and then also a little sneaky bass drum note on the of beat 1 of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, bar 6. So we get 1, 2, and not the and of 1, but the So it's usually we get 1 and 2, 3, 4. Now we get 1, 2, 3, 4. Just falling in between the hi-hats. If you want to play that sort of more advanced at this tempo, pushing of the bass drum on the of 1, then you've got that option. That's what Nigel plays there. And we've got a couple of 3 and 4 and ideas going on there as well. The next line, the drum fill, 1 E and a 2 and a 3 E and 4 and. So very similar to the drum fill before, except it's 1 E and a 2 and a 3 E and 4 and. Offbeat crash on the and a 4. Going into our final chorus, chorus 6. More sneaky bass drum in bar 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and in bar 4. And then the last drum fill I could hear before it completely fades out at the bottom of the page there is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So with a little sneaky offbeat crash on the and a beat 4 to end it. And then that's the end of the song. But before we finish, let me now play for you, starting from the second line of chorus 4, all the way to the end of the song. Here we go. So I hope you enjoyed the lesson. If you've got any questions, feel free to email me, rob@drumstheword.com. Don't forget to download the free PDF that came with this lesson. Again, the link is beneath this video. And until our next drum lesson together, which will be next year now sometime, as early as possible in January, we'll see how things go. Merry Christmas to you, Happy New Year, and happy drumming to you as well. Toodle pip! If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments below. And you can watch my other free drum lessons by clicking the links on the screen now. Alternatively, if you want to learn how to play literally hundreds of famous and popular songs in full, from start to finish, and including the fully transcribed sheet music, then check out my website drumstheword.com for further details. Thanks for watching.